Okay, so let's take a look at how you can plot Cleveland dot plot, also known as dot chart, right? So we will open our studio, right? So the first thing we'll be making use of the default dot chart function in order to plot these observations, right? So first thing we'll open our script, right? So here I'm not going to import any library, so this is part of our base package. So type in set.seed set to 1, right? Then we will be using three observations here: sold, a particular product being sold, so that sold products list, then the months and the quarters in which they were sold, right? So we will have a sample which contains list 400 to 450 12, right? Then month, right? So month dot name, then finally quarter, right? So here we'll be making use of these observations. So right, the next thing we will add 3 by 3 and finally 4 by 3, right? So we have our data for sold, month and quarter, right? So if I want to plot chart, I can use dot chart and I can pass on one of the sold, month or quarter. So if I run this, so let's say one by one, set seed, then sold, then month, then quarter, right? Finally dot chart for that initial sold values. Now I can add on frame and color to this dot chart. For that I can use pch value to, let's say, anything above 50 to 19, then let's say color set to HCL dot colors. Here I can have value set 12, then comma, you can use point value to 1.5, then I can use frame dot plot, right, and set this to true. So if I run this again, it should update my chart, and as you can see there are colors now to these dots, right? Now I can also add labels. So let's see, labels set to month, right? If I run this, let's try and find the update. So here you see it kind of color codes the months from January to December, and based on the position of our dots, so they appear with that color code, right? So here one more thing we can do is we can group these with the help of quarterly values. So what we can do is we will add one more comma, then groups equals to, right? So here I'll be adding quarter value. Now let's run this all over, and I have group of quarters. It looks a bit cluttered because we are seeing it in small version. Larger version, you can see quarterly changes, groups are made with quarter, and dots also sorted as per that, right? So that out of the way, I can also add color to this particular groups, but for that I will have to add one more thing, is colors, right? So let's see, if I choose to add color for, let's see here, instead of single quote can add double quotes. So I will have like 4 observations, right? So let's keep on adding them, right? And then I will also search for some of the hex values, right? So here within double quotes, again within double quotes, and finally again with double quotes, right? And once I add this, I can use color set to the values that we place here. Also you'll have to think of group of 3 as its quarter, so 3 here each, right? And our hex value should go there, right? So make sure there is comma and it should do blue, right? So let's go here and then type in color palette hex value, right? So here we have popular color palettes, and if I choose, let's say something like this red or cool blue, so let's go with this. So I'll start with the most dark and paste it over here, right? So keep adding those values as that would be available within our observation. So based on that you can make up a theme. Let's see if I choose to go with this, right? And if I minimize this, right? Finally here I can use color set to coals, right? Now if I run this first, hopefully there shouldn't be any problem. And then finally this dot chart statement I'm going, and here you see you have your chart ready, the color scheme that I put into it. Let me zoom in so that you can view it. Here you see the color code that we just added within our parameter color set to calls, right? And we have our blue theme here, right? So this is pretty much for our color for groups. We can also summarize the data, right? So if I choose to summarize this, I can use G data, right? So G data equals to rev, and here I can use T apply, within which I will have to pass vector which is sold, then index which is quarter, and then comes the function which is mean, right? So we have our data ready. You can run this and see the change here. As you can see these white dots being added, right? So summary for each data would be with that, right? Now finally, as you can see, you can also modify some of the labels with, let's say, order for sold. So let's say month, where I can go for, let's say, order, right? And here I can change them as per sold. Let's see if that works. If it doesn't, we can go back to our own last observations, right? So you can see it has sorted by that value as well. So here we have managed to create our basic dot plot. Then we added frame and color, then added labels, then we grouped it, then we added colors with those group with our custom theme. Finally we summarized our data and also ordered it with value. Okay, now you can also draw these dot chart with the help of library ggplot2, but that would require totally different set of data, and for you to use those function you will be using different parameters, so it would require different discussion on its own. So what I can do is I will limit this particular dot chart for base package, right? So hopefully you will find this one helpful. We will try and cover the ggplot one later.